lecture 5. We will be doing 4.1 and respective assessment criteria. Okay. It says present complex information using technology. Sometimes there are things and details which require proper softwares, apps, and presentation through proper system. That is why we are going to touch about technology here in this course. That's the communication skills for business. Now, present means you need to show for others to scrutinize or consider, formally deliver, for example, in verbal, written, or graphical format. I think it's going to be a presentation in your task. Um, how you're going to perform it, how you're going to deliver it, and how the other person is going to perceive it all depends on you. That is the one who is giving the presentation. Presented complex, again, all the points which are here in your assessment criteria 4.1, these are from your indicative content. The presenting complex information using technology involves leveraging various digital tools and platforms to effectively convey intricate concepts or data sets to an audience. Sometimes the data, the information, it gets very difficult if I talk only verbally without showing you the context of a report or some kind of visual aids or a presentation. It always helps whenever we intervene with the technology and with our verbal expressions. First is data visualization tools like Tableau, Power BI, or Google Data Studio to create visually appealing charts, graphs, and interactive dashboards. The one which we can use as well, and the sender as well. And with that, different charts, line graphs, star graphs, bar chart, and so on. It is always interesting to see these kinds of things and colors as well. These tools help transform complex data sets into easily understandable visual representations, allowing viewers to grasp insights quickly. Sometimes we are quite sleepy in the class or we do not feel like to be attentive in the lecture or while taking it. So what happens if we add videos, graphs, visual aids, it always blinks you up. For example, a business analyst would use Tableau to create a dashboard to display sales trend, regional performance, and consumer demographics, like a chart, like a flow chart or different boxes dashboard in which you can see the picture skew of the real time data, what is going on between these three figures. That's the sales trend at the moment, performances, and demographics. Clear the first point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
all right. Presentation software, platforms like Microsoft PowerPoint, from where I'm delivering at the moment, Google Slides, or Prezi, even Zoho, enable users to create engaging presentations with multimedia elements such as images, videos, and animations. Like we can change the transition modes, if you can see right now in the dashboard. These are the transitions, these are the animations which we can, like, I cannot apply right now because obviously I'm not, like, this is the plugin, this is floating. It all depends on you how you want to change the slideshow, designs. There are so many things in PowerPoint, and if you upgrade it with Prezi and Suho, there are more plus things in it. Presenters can structure their content logically using the bullet points, headings, and slides to break down the complex information into digestible segments in which you are going to perceive the lecture quite easily. I can change my italics, my style, the numbers, everything can be changed right in front of you. The text direction, the alignment, the shapes. I can create different shapes right now, though I do not need it. But again, everything can be done here. It all depends on your creativity and time. For instance, a researcher presenting findings from a scientific study might use PowerPoint to organize data, explain methodology, and illustrate key conclusion. Why? Because it's always easy to handle in PowerPoint as compared to other softwares, because there are so many things in it and we can go ahead the way we like to. There are the designs options, and in which we can go for the slide designs, and with that we can work on the slide background formatting and size as well. A watermark too. Interactive e-learning modules. Develop interactive e-learning modules using authoritative tools like Articulate, Storyline, Adopt, Captivate, or Moodle. These tools allow instructional designers to incorporate multimedia elements, quizzes, simulations, and branching scenarios to engage learners and facilitate comprehension of complex topics. you are required to make different surveys and questionnaires. So there are different inbuilt softwares on available for us, which are free as well on the Google, which we can download and give the command to them, and they are create softwares and questionnaires for us, which is a big aid and help at this time. For example, a company could create an e-learning module on cybersecurity awareness, combining text-based content with interactive scenarios to educate employees on the best practices for the data scrutiny or security. Just by reading the slides during a discussion, I feel like that's not interactive. There must be always a Q&A session, a discussion in which we can make and engage the audience at the same time. We should exchange the ideas, knowledge should be spread up, and we should introduce our own thoughts as well. Virtual reality and augmented reality. These are two kinds of things. Explore immersive technologies like VR and AR to provide experiential learning experiences. Now we will see what these are. VR simulations can simulate real world environments, enabling the users to interact with the complex systems or scenarios in a safe and controlled setting. That is, everything is going to be under your control the way you want. Like a medical training program might use virtual reality simulations to allow aspiring surgeons to practice surgical procedures in a virtual operating room. It's not like the way it was back in 90s and even in the 21st century as well, that uh, the dead bodies which were not renowned by the people, by the families, they were used in the medical, and still it has been used in the labs in the practicing hospital, and they used to dissect everything on a real human, a dead human, and then they used to perform their practices on it, the interns most probably. But now, what the technology has done, the AI, that we are creating the virtual rooms, 3D, 5D modules, and robotic things, and humans which feel like they are real but they are not, and we perform everything on it in the medical world. AR applications, however, they overlay the digital information onto the user's physical environment, enhancing real world experiences with additional context or data. Like you can feel the reality as well, and you can go into the conceptual details too. For example, it could be an architectural firm, that's the construction site, using AR to visualize building designs overlaid onto the physical construction sites. And it happens in everybody use. Maybe boy do have a more concept of it. We do work on the work sites, on the construction sites, but there are 3D, 5D models as well, through which we visualize that this is going to be our structure at the end. Where are going to be the doors, how the foundations are going to be laid down, the steel, everything is going to be discussed over there, and you have a concept of budgeting, time span, revenue is discussed in that scenario. Then collaboration platforms leverage collaboration tools such as Microsoft Teams, Slack, or Trello to facilitate teamwork and communication among the team members working on the complex projects. Like if you're working on a very difficult project or which require a lot of discussion, then it's not going to be appropriate to always call one another on WhatsApp or Messenger call. It's better to have a proper software in which you can adjust up your queries and everybody can add input to it. And the Microsoft team is the best example for it. These platforms allow for the real time communication, file sharing, task management, and project tracking, streamlining collaboration, and ensuring everyone stays informed and aligned. Now, the link which I've created for you people, it's not only for you, it is for everyone who attends my class at 10 Pakistani time. So everything is recorded in the chat, which is plus point for me as well and for the others as well. If I share something there, it is recorded forever, and the attendance is also over there. So it's quite easy. Same thing goes for the people who work in the corporate sector. When everything is aligned in the systems, it gets easy, it's less time consuming, and with the same time, you get efficiency at a spark. For instance, a software development can use the Slack channels to discuss project requirements, share code snippets, and coordinate development tasks in real time because you cannot share the codes with your rivals or competitors. It can be shared among the departments and the peer groups. So it's easy that you share solo platform with everybody or a software. By employing these technology driven approaches, individuals and organizations can effectively present complex information in ways that are engaging, informative, and accessible to their target audience. Now, here, the target audience can be the consumers, they can be your employees, they can be your stakeholders, board of directors, suppliers, because we need to present things in an appropriate way. If you're only talking and talking, or you're just reading slides and you're not discussing them in reality with the real world examples or with your experiences and thoughts, then everything is going to be made. Another person is not dumb, they can read as well. But it's important to give your input as well and to take the other inputs too. Okay, now it's kind of real life example, a scenario. Presenting complex information using technology. This was our main heading for assessment criteria 4.1. The scenario is marketing strategy presentation to stakeholders. Now, this is just a simple topic. That's a marketing strategy, and we are presenting to whom? To the stakeholders, the entity of the whole organization. You are a marketing manager at mid-sized company preparing a detailed presentation on the upcoming marketing strategy because you cannot stick to one strategy for whole life. It needs to be changed whenever it requires. After 3, 6, 8 months. The information involves technical data, performance analytics, and future forecasting. This is what we are going to discuss with our stakeholders. What data we have at the moment, whether it's primary, raw, or secondary, then the performance of our peer groups by measuring on the KPI indicators, that is the key performance indicator, and future forecast. What do you predict? What do we predict as an organization that we will be up to the project or not, or we are going to conquering other projects or not, or will be successful enough? Steps in the scenario. Choose the right technology, the intended technology, the correct one. Use Microsoft PowerPoint or the Google Slides to create visually appealing presentation. The first thing is this, which we need to do. We can choose either the PP or the Google Slides. Include charts and graphs using tools like Excel or Tableau to make complex data understandable. It's not mandatory to always use inbuilt charts or graphs which are present in Microsoft PowerPoint. We can always consult and use other programs as well or softwares through which we can make different charts and graphs and we can copy paste or simply insert. Add videos or animations to explain the strategy's impact visually, and we can go for the videos as well by putting up the link and directly going onto the YouTube or a specific website. In this way, the scenarios and the concept they get quite easily absorbed. Structure. Start with a summary of key points to provide a roadmap. The same thing goes for you people as well. Whenever you are working on a presentation or even a task, start with a summary or that's called an abstract in the case studies. What you will be discussing in the whole document above, below, and what will be the key aspects and points. Use infographics to simplify analytics like campaign success rates or target demographics. Always use percentiles, numbers in your presentations, in your report writing or case studies, or even the research proposal. It is quite eye appealing, and you get to know that what the figures actually have a relationship with the uh, concept which we are going to study. Conclude with a timeline of implementation and a clear call to action, that is the project which we need to complete or the work we need to do. There must be a time frame for it, that in 1 week we're going to do this, then in 1 to 2 weeks, then 3 to 4 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks, and so on. Maximum project to 3 for 6 months and maximum 2 to 3 years. In this way, you have a boundary that you need to finish things with this time frame or not. Nothing is gambled up, or you're not going to be fluctuated in the meanwhile. Engage the audience. Like you told Zoom with the screen sharing, the one I'm doing right now, I have shared my screen with you people, or a smart board during live presentations. It's a live class going on, but remotely you people are in another country, I'm in another country, and we're having a proper class, and that's a remote study going on a Zoom app. Incorporate Q&A sessions where stakeholders can use digital polls to prioritize key areas just to know the numberings and numeracy that which decision, act, or project should be accepted first. This is for the corporate sectors. Outcome. Stakeholders understand the marketing strategy thanks to clear visuals and interactive elements. This approach ensures everyone is aligned on objectives and timelines, even those unfamiliar with technical marketing terms. The one which are not able to perceive the jargon terms used in the marketing strategy presentation, If you are going to work on these steps, then definitely they are also going to perceive that what the presentation was about and how they need to work on it. Okay, that's it. Till slide 15. Is the concept clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Then moving towards 41, it says adapt own oral communication for different audiences and purposes. I think for this as well, you people are from new specifications. There is a Viva for this task as well. That you people are going to make a presentation and then you are going to present it solely without only with the audio, and I'll able to judge where you stand. So we're going to work on that steps. Adapting oral communication for the different audiences and purposes involves tailoring your speaking style, tone, and content to effectively convey your message to a specific group in a given context. Now, if you really want to go for the oral communication, first of all, it is the one in which you can send the message and they are receiving the message, they are understanding it, and then they're giving the feedback as well. That is the communication, that's the two-way communication. Then oral is the one which we're doing verbally by our mouth, by our gestures, by our styles. And it depends on the audience. If you're in a corporate sector in a company, then definitely your tone, your style is going to be very formal. But if you're in a class, again, it's going to be formal, but a kind of informal as well because you get easy with your classmates. When delivering a formal presentation to a small group, it's essential to maintain a professional demeanor and structure your speech in a way that commands attention and conveys authority. That is, your voice do not trigger or you stammer a lot. Something inbuilt problem or an issue or disability is there. But other than that, you need to be very much confident that what you were speaking, people can ask questions and you need to be quite dominant about them. You should be well prepared, articulate, and engage your audience by addressing their interests and concerns. What kind of speech you are going to deliver, in what type of society or people, what their mindsets are, where they rely, what's the maximum age, minimum age, the type. Everything should be discussed beforehand with your own self and the presentation maker. Then we should go for it. And the main purpose for delivering a presentation is always to hit the audience. The first, it's according to example, staff training session. Imagine you have tasked with delivering a formal presentation to a small group of employees to train them on a new software system. In this scenario, you would begin by introducing yourself and providing an overview of the training agenda because you are the leader over here. First, you need to train them, need to tell them each and every step, and then they are going to be perfectly fine to work on their presentations. You would then proceed to explain the features and functionalities of the software, whatsoever the software is, whether it's PP, whether it's Soho, and the rest. Using clear and concise language, being quite easy, do not use jargon and difficult English, supplemented by visual aids such as slides or demonstrations, and you should have a demo slides, demo report, everything which can be used as a handout. Throughout the presentation, you would encourage interaction by inviting questions and fostering discussion to ensure that everyone understands the material. If I'm only going to work on the presentation, delivering it, and I'm not going to be asking the questions, interacting you up, calling up your names, or calling up with the questions, then definitely you will be bored, and at some chance you are going to lose focus too. And even for the speaker who is speaking, he gets confused too. Colleague collaboration meeting. Suppose you need to present project updates and collaborate with a small group of colleagues from different departments. You are in human resource department and you are working on a project, but it's mandation that you need to consult with the manufacturing department, R&D department, research and development department, and the others as well. In this case, you would structure your presentation, provide relevant information tailored to take each team needs and interests. That is, if you are into the financial department as well, then you need to add numbers and forecast and everything. And with that, if we're with the research and development, we need to touch the benchmarks, innovation, and something new in our work and project, which will definitely entail their attention. You would highlight the key achievements, discuss challenges, and solicit the feedback or suggestions for the improvement. Now, what so far you have achieved, you're going to tell that as well. Then the problems which you faced, and while that problems, you're going to ask the problems and solutions too. By demonstrating your expertise and actively involving participants in the discussion, you foster a collaborative environment conducive to problem solving and decision making. And when you ask questions frequently, you discuss everything frequently, then definitely what happens, you are able to have proper strategic decision making skills. You are able to go for the correct decisions. And if something bad happens, you have a backup plan that is known as contingency plan. Then management briefing. As a department head, you are responsible for presenting quarterly performance reports to senior management after every 4 months. January, February, March, April, and then 4 months, and then 4 months. This means 4 times in a year because there are 12 months. Your presentation should be polished, concise, and focused on strategic insights and actionable recommendations. What are you working on? What's the update? What kind of improvement you need? And what will be the final verdict? You would highlight the key metrics, what you have achieved so far, identify trends with your competitors, and outline the future goals and initiatives which you feel like you can achieve or you want to achieve. By presenting information in a structured and data driven manner, you demonstrate your competence and credibility, influencing decision makers to support your proposed strategies. And when you are quite confident enough in delivering the presentation and delivering up your ideas and thoughts, and you feel like that you can get them the live, then definitely the others are going to feel confident and competent in your words. And they will definitely support you. In each of these examples, the speaker adapts their oral communication style, the way they are speaking, to suit the specific audience, the kind of audience. It could be staff, the workers, colleagues, your peer groups, management, these senior managers, the one under which you are working. And purpose. The reason behind everything of the oral communication here is for the training purposes, giving them the trainings, then collaboration to collab with the others, and briefing, giving them the small summary so that they can work in depth. By tailoring their approach and content accordingly, they enhance engagement, comprehension, and the overall effectiveness of their presentation. So with the overall presentation and making up a presentation, it's important to have a perfect voice of note. You're confident enough and you know what you're delivering and talking about because you can expect all kinds of questions from the audience. Adapting oral communications for different audiences and purposes. Audiences, just we did staff, colleagues, and the managers, and purposes, the intended purpose behind it. The first scenario is explaining the same business concept to different audiences. Let, let's read. You're a team lead, that is the leader, preparing to introduce a new project management tool. You're working on a project management tool and you need to discuss that with two different kinds of audience. First, your technical team who will use it daily, the one which is underworking you. The senior executives who need a high level understanding, they need reports, they need formal presentations and handouts. Everything should be given to them so that they are not able to forget things way too quickly. So you're working for the project management tools and your intended audience are two. They can be three, four, as many as you want. Steps in the scenario. Presentation to the technical team. Purpose. Train them on how to use the tool. Obviously, they are a layman. They do not know how to use the first. What you will do, you will be training them. Tone and language. Oral communication. Use technical terms and detailed instructions. You are going to use technical jargon terms, but you are going to be explaining them in depth as well. Method. Conduct a hands-on demo session showing specific features like task delegation, reporting, and integration, and how you can make sure that these things are getting absorbed by the party. First, you are going to make sure that everybody is designated to one project and they are showing up the delegation, showing up the teamwork. With that, they know how to report, how to implement the feedback, and to respond with each other. Highlight troubleshooting tips. If there is a problem, we should always highlight them frequently. Engagement. Encourage the team to ask questions and perform a live trial of the tool during the session. Just to go ahead with the final one on one session or the final run of the tool or technique, it's important to run that on a small audience or a small group of people. That's a patch test. If you feel like everything is perfectly going on, then we can do that in the bigger ratio. Presentation to senior executives. Purpose convincing them of the tool's benefits and ROI rate on return. It is that you are able to convince them. You have a convincing power that they should go into it. Tone, use non technical language and focus on business outcomes, for example, improved efficiency, cost savings, because they are the managers here, the executives. We're not going to tell them about our profitability ratios, our cash inflows, outflows, our equities. We have to be very much formal in the business terminologies. That is, it's going to be efficient. We're going to come up with more profit maximization. The cost is going to reduce, and we will be boosting up in the market. So, less technical language and more business languages. Method. Deliver a 5-minute summary of how the tools align with organizational goals again because they are more into the thought and vision of making organization as their first priorities. It's our mandation that we make the presentation and we deliver it according to the goals and objectives of the organization so that they should perceive and they should be persistently accepting the proposal. Show a cost benefit analysis using a simple graph and explain how it saves 20% of project management time because everybody has a very least time. They are more into time consumption, conservation, which is less, not the more. And with that, we can discuss the CBA method. That's the cost benefit analysis. We are going to have less cost, more profit, and that's the plus point for the business. Engagement. Allow time for executive level questions about implementation costs and long term value. What the project offers in the long term. Will we be will we be successful with this in 5 years or what will be the ratio or we will decline or regress? Everything should be discussed here. Outcome. Both audiences leave with a clear understanding of the tool, that is the new project management one, tailored to their needs. Technical users know how to implement it, and executive sees it strategic value because they're aligning everything with the goals and objectives of organization. Other than that, the first user, the technical people, they're more into how we're going to implement it and will have an outcome. So that's it for today's lecture. We are done with two of the assessment criteria. That was 4.1 and 41. An assessment of the impact of nonverbal communication on oral communications. We talked about the presentation regarding oral communication and everything. Here, you need to focus on the command verb. That's assessment. Whenever it is, it means you have to focus on the judgment. Whatsoever the point is mentioned in the indicative content, explain that with the help of example. Do not forget that it should be a small medium enterprise if you're using a company name. And with that, you need to be very sure that you should stick to the command verb description. And here it clearly means explain it and be producing the judgment. The question is all about the impact of non-verbal commute on oral communication. That is the one which we cannot talk, but we can explain through our body language and gestures, and then we are speaking as well. Non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication refers to the transmission of the messages or information without the use of words. It involves conveying meaning through gestures, facial expressions, body language, posture, tone of voice, and other visual, auditory, or tactile cues. That's true. Non-verbal communication or being non-verbal doesn't mean that you have to speak all the time or you need to commute because there are people and a person with the special disability needs and the normal ones when we are presenting the presentations in front of the peer groups. What matter is your facial expression, your gestures, how you're acting. Then the way you're walking in the room, it also tells about your personality, posture, how you're looking, how you're standing, and everything. Tone of voice, is it medium, is it soft, is it sparkling, or way too loud? Another visual, auditory, or tactile cues, the way we are standing and performing the presentation. Like people love to use pen and then they do tick, tick, tick. That's quite annoying. For example, consider a job interview where the interviewer smiles warmly, maintains eye contact, and nods with the agreement while the candidate is speaking. These nonverbal cues convey interest, openness, and positive engagement, enhancing the overall communication experience. Conversely, if the interviewer crosses the arms, avoids eye contact, and frowns during the interview, it may signal disinterest or skepticism. That is, they have a doubt on you as well and on your documents too. So they're going to lack the interest indirectly and you will be losing the job too. So you need to be very much confident, even if you feel like you do not know anything. Confidence should be an a thing, a skill which should be overthrown from yourself, a person. Oral communication, however, is the process of expressing and exchanging information through spoken words, a kind of two-way communication. It involves the use of language, verbal cues, tone of voice, and other vocal elements to convey messages, ideas, or instructions. That is, it could be a command, it could be an order, it could be a simple discussion. Right now, we are doing what? We're doing an oral communication. So it's going to be taken as an example. For example, in a team meeting, a project manager verbally communicates the goals and timelines for an upcoming project. Just like I give you deadlines, the management gives you deadlines about the assignment. You need to do it. We will be doing this task, this lecture, what it is. It's the things and discussion going on with the time frame, with the time scales. The manager uses clear and concise language, engages team members in discussion, and encourages questions. Effective oral communication ensures that everyone understands their roles and responsibilities, fostering collaboration and alignment within the team. So the main purpose is that we need to do two-way communication. If you're giving an order, you are giving an instruction, it's important that they should understand it, they should implement it, and in return, you should get a feedback as well. For example, again, during a public presentation, the speaker not only delivers a well structured and articulate speech, that's an oral commute, but also uses the gestures, facial expressions, and body language to emphasize the key points and connect with the audience. That's the nonverbal communication. Now, I'm sure you're clear with the concept of these two things, oral and the nonverbal communication. The speaker's confident tone, coupled with the positive nonverbal cues, enhances the overall impact and the effectiveness of the communication. And everything is going to be balanced, equilibrated, 10 on 10 from both sides, then it means you are an all rounder. Now, again, the points are from your indicative content, impact of nonverbal communication, tone. Positive impact. A warm and friendly tone enhances the oral message, making it more engaging and approachable. For example, a cheerful tone when delivering good news creates a positive atmosphere. Yay, we achieved straight A grade in O levels or A levels. What means? It's going to be quite a happy voice, and that will be depicting as well. However, an abrupt or harsh tone can convey negativity and detract from the intended message. That's a stern tone, while giving feedback, may overshadow the message content. That is, sometimes you feel like, maybe you feel like, that I do get a bit angry when I'm not happy with the progress of assignment. So it definitely shows the stern in my tone, in my language, though I'm not that person. But that's a mandatory thing because it just frustrates you. Same thing goes in the corporate sector as well. If you're not understanding things, you should ask it again and again. It's our responsibility to make sure that things are being absorbed by our side. Body language, however, open and confident body language reinforces the speaker's credibility and sincerity. For example, maintaining eye contact and using open gestures during a presentation. You're using a lot of your hands and you're moving yourself as well, and you're contacting with everybody. You're not just looking in one eye with the word person or only looking up at straight window or front wall. It should be mandatory we're looking with everyone. Negative impact, closed off or defensive body language can signal discomfort or lack of confidence. That is, your shoulders are quite slouched. You're not standing confidently. Crossing arms or avoiding eye contact might convey resistance. Some people put leg on the other leg. That's even not a confident person. Positive reinforcement of oral message. Nonverbal cues can reinforce positive messages, emphasizing enthusiasm or agreement. For example, nodding in agreement while saying yes strengthens the verbal affirmation. Like when I'm done with one slide, I ask that, is there a problem? You people say no or yes. That's word. That's a reinforcement. I'm asking and you people are replying. It could be a negative one, it could be a positive one. Contradiction of oral message, that there's a problem, there's an issue. Positive point, nonverbal cues can provide additional context or emotion to a spoken message, like smiling while discussing a positive achievement adds sincerity. If you're discussing something in the lecture side, the classes, which is funny or it's quite interesting, it actually shows you with the tone. You can feel the other instinct. Even some people are so confident enough that when they are talking on the text messages on different platforms, they can feel other person. That's even a positive impact. Negative, inconsistency between verbal and non-verbal signals can create confusion or distress. That is, I'm fine, with a sad expression may indicate otherwise. Friend of friends and mother and parents. I'm okay, but in the end, you're not. Active listening. That is, I'm asking a question, you're responding it to promptly. Nonverbal cues like nodding, maintaining eye contact, and paraphrasing show engagement, like leaning forward and nodding during a colleague's presentation demonstrate active listening. That is, you are more into it whatsoever he's or she is delivering, and you are actually like showing up with a gesture, moving up with the head, nodding, or doing something. Negative. Lack of nonverbal engagement may lead to miscommunication or perceived disinterest. That's it. Um, if you're not nonverbal, you're not showing something to the person who's delivering the presentation. They would feel like they're just talking and talking. Nothing is getting been absorbed by the other party. For example, checking the phone while someone is speaking signals distraction. That's it used to be in me as well. In my very early ages, when somebody and group of people were talking, and it was not of my interest. I always used to get into my phone or my novel. So that was not a good thing, but with the slowly passage of time, I did work on it, and Alhamdulillah, I do not do it more. But it's a very bad habit. Focusing. Nonverbal signals such as learning or maintaining eye contact demonstrate concentration. That is, if somebody is talking to you, you are looking at his or her eyes. It feels like you're actually talking or you're getting absorbed with each other. For example, focusing on a speaker without distractions during critical discussions. That is, you're talking important and you're listening to the person clearly. And if he asks or she asks something, you're able to reply promptly. However, distracted nonverbal behavior like fidgeting or looking away can convey disinterest. Fidgeting is the one which I told you, take off the pen. For example, checking time repeatedly during a meeting may signal impatience that you're being quite impatient, you're not comfortable in that meeting, and you really need to, or you're rushing to go into other room or to just get out of the room. Okay, conclusion. Nonverbal communication significantly influences oral communication because they both somehow are parallel to each other, either enhancing or detracting from the spoken message. Positive nonverbal cues reinforce messages. That is, if these are the good one, then they are actually it gets easy to get absorbed into the messages. Build rapport, you're going to have a one on one session and convey sincerity. While conflicting or negative signals may lead to misunderstandings because you're not making a rapport with each other. The use of tone, body language, and active listening contributes to effective oral communication. These tone, body language, and other things, these are the gestures, non-verbal communication gestures. And they need to be combined with oral communication, making it crucial to be mindful of both verbal and non-verbal elements in various communication contexts. This because communication is not of one kind, it's of many kinds. We did discuss in early. Till now, these are the references, and we're done with today's lecture. That was complete lecture number 5.